Which brings us to our final presenter of the night. It's my honor to present Mariam Mateen of Second Day.
Standing up here tonight, and not just for the obvious reason. You have met my fellow finalists. They are doing amazing and incredible and urgent work in our communities, and I am genuinely rooting for them. But what they would tell you, as any other nonprofit would, is that it is about more than having money in the bank. It is about having more people on the ground helping us do the work. And not just any people, but people who have lived experience with things like food insecurity in the criminal justice system. Because those are the folks who can help us think about taking on not just symptoms, but the root cause of these diseases. The challenge is, social impact is losing the war for talent. But it's not because of a lack of interest or a lack of opportunity. There are literally tens of millions of Gen Zers and millennials who are actively open to a job in social impact, but employers consistently say that they don't have the infrastructure to recruit effectively. One of the most concrete ways we can start building those talent pipelines is through more paid internships. And that's why we launched the Second Day Impact Fellowship. In this program, we match predominantly first-gen, low-income BIPOC students to paid internships at nonprofits and social enterprises. And these aren't coffee-fetching interns. These interns are doing financial modeling and creating social media content and writing grants. And you can see several of the organizations we've supported over the last few years. Some of them might be in the room today. So our model is unique for both employers and interns. So for interns, these opportunities are paid, part-time, flexible, and remote, which means they can actually afford to participate in them while also taking classes or working other jobs. We also provide robust, individualized professional development, and 97% of our students say we are more helpful than any other resource that they have access to. Most importantly, when we started this project, we wanted to prove that if you invest in paid interns, you can retain great talent. And I'm very happy to say of our inaugural 2020 cohort, 75% of them are still working in social impact. This model is also unique for employers in that these are not grant-funded opportunities. Every employer is expected to pay their intern and pay Second Day a fee for our training and recruiting costs. As you can see, employers keep coming back year after year because the caliber of talent is so high, and the process of partnering with us is incredibly seamless. This, combined with our consulting services, has made Second Day a nonprofit that is 80% earned revenue driven and has doubled year over year. So I don't know if you noticed me at the booth today. I was by myself, and that is because I'm a whopping team of 2 at Second Day, which means that it is really hard to take advantage of the opportunity that is 1.5 million nonprofits in the US, many of whom cannot afford to pay their interns. But that's why this year we were really excited to launch our first enterprise partnership with the Dallas Foundation, who paid us to place 10 interns across their grantees. This was 10 internships that didn't exist before, and huge revenue for Second Day. But the challenge with these types of partnerships is that they take significant energy to research and foster these relationships. And that's why we're asking for $60,000 to recruit a director of strategic partnerships to help us find a bunch more Dallas foundations. They would be creating 120 new internships in their first year, which is not only huge from a mission perspective, but also ensures the role essentially pays for itself by year 2. Bringing it all full circle, we need more people helping us do this work. And we want somebody who knows the transformational power of pay equity and mentorship, somebody that knows that today's paid intern is tomorrow's nonprofit CEO, innovator, and activist. Thank you.
So tell me a little bit about this job. What would it entail? Like, who are they going after? What type of companies, and what kind of return would you want them to see in order to get those internships?
Absolutely. So their target funders would be foundations, and I think specifically they would start with the foundations that sort of speak our language already, which are capacity building foundations. So folks who already understand the importance of investing in people, and so essentially pitching them on, hey, you have your own grantees that you are doing a lot for, but how else can you be supporting them? Give them access to more staff and to talent pipelines that they aren't able to access on their own. So that's probably where we would start, but yeah.
How are you connecting with the students who use it?
Great question. So there are several key channels that we use. So one, we leverage our higher education relationships. So UT is one of our biggest feeder schools, yay, UT. Howard University as well in DC, and a school called Minerva in the West Coast. We also have strategic partnerships. There was a few logos up earlier, but we work with a lot of nonprofits that focus on college and career success. So we have very shared and aligned missions, so they work with a lot of first-gen students, so they send a lot of folks our way. And we're also largely word of mouth driven now, too. Yeah.
So first of all, thanks for sharing all this. Like I never, until hearing this, never really thought about the talent gap, or deficit rather,
Yeah.
in social impact positions. So that's
Thank you. Love that.
education. So
Yeah.
thank you. So one thing, like building this, I'm curious, you're a gang of two, and so there got to be areas where you're having, where you feel pull, where you feel traction, and areas where you're feeling resistance.
Yeah.
What are those areas across those two?
I
I'm
would
curious
say-
where the initial success is.
Yeah, I would say that that's sort of where, honestly, this pitch came from, is that I'm the person who leads all of our kind of front-end sales and partnership management. And so, there's only so much that I can do in a day. And now we've hit a point where we have had worked with, I'd say 40 plus partners over the last 2.5 years. So there's not much more that I can do by myself. And so part of where I'm feeling stretched is making sure that I'm looking out for our current partners and continuing to find new ways to work with them, make sure that they're placing interns every year, and that's become a full-time job. So then I have lost the ability to kind of go after new and fresh opportunities and go after more of those Dallas Foundation.
You're experiencing the
partners.
talent deficit in social impact.
I'm facing my own talent deficit, yes. Absolutely, that's it.
Are you looking at all at expanding your student outreach to people that don't need paid internships but would be interested in working with social impact organizations?
Like full-time jobs or?
So people that don't need to be paid for their work.
So volunteers. So there are a lot of those sorts of organizations out there, most famously Taproot Foundation. What they do is they have a model where if you are an accountant, for example, and you're like, I would like to give some of my accounting knowledge to a nonprofit, Taproot does a great job at doing that already. It's really a very specific gap in the market that we found, which is folks who are 0 to 2 years into their career and are looking to break in. I think that's where there's been fewest resources developed, and that's sort of where we play.
Thank you, Douglas. Wow.